Quite a group. Amazing. It's 7 o'clock. Here we can begin. This time I'd like to call this Bristol City Council meeting to order. Let's start with roll call, please.
Councilmember Budashevsky.
Here.
Councilmember Cummings.
Here.
Councilmember Eidbo.
Here.
Councilmember Kamish.
Here.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Here.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have an agenda before us in looking for a motion to pass the agenda. Go ahead.
I'll make a
Nancy.
motion to approve.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Thanks. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. So first item on the agenda is some promotions, some recent promotions. Our Police Chief Revering is here to address the council and all of you. So welcome, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Beck, and City Attorney Gilchrist. I really appreciate that you're taking some time for us today to recognize these officers and promotions. It's, as you can tell, it is very important to not only their friends and family, but to all of us that are here tonight to support them. So first off, I'd like to have Lieutenant Justin Tourville come up. Lieutenant Justin Tourville grew up in Plymouth with his parents and younger brother and graduated from Armstrong High School in 1993. I just have to comment on this real quick. This is 1993, which is close to when I graduated. I graduated a little sooner, but normally when I'm before you, I'm saying like 2020. This is really helpful. Yeah. Okay. During high school, he spent 2 years as a police explorer with the Plymouth Police Department. After graduating high school, Justin held many jobs, including delivery work, a bus driver, and security. He also spent 6 years as a reserve officer with the Crystal Police Department. Just prior to being hired as a police officer, he worked for 2 years as a jail corrections officer at the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. Justin graduated from North Hennepin Community College with an associate's degree in law enforcement in October of 1998. He subsequently received his bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Liberty University. He turned down law enforcement jobs with the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office and the Minnesota State Patrol and was sworn in as a police officer with the Crystal Police Department on May 30th, 2000. He was promoted to sergeant in 2017, and in addition to being a patrol supervisor, he spent a few years in charge of the department's community engagement efforts. During his time here, Justin has received numerous awards and has served as a member and team leader of our SWAT team, an FTO, an investigator, a firearms instructor, an explorer advisor, a reserve coordinator, a drone operator, and a background investigator, just to name a few. He has completed numerous leadership trainings, including the Minnesota Chiefs of Police Association Leadership Academy and the Elite FBI LEDA Leadership Trilogy Series. Justin endured a rigorous promotional process to stand before you tonight. After completing his application, he completed interviews with both an internal and an external panel, a review of his past performance evaluations, a full psychological and leadership assessment. Justin has been a crucial part of the Crystal PD team for 22 years and has certainly earned the honor and responsibilities of his promotion to lieutenant. Justin enjoys spending time at home north of the metro and enjoys hunting, fishing, snowboarding, games, and spending time with his wonderful family. Justin began serving as a lieutenant on an interim basis in March, and we are very excited to have him move into his leadership role overseeing the patrol division permanently. Justin is joined tonight by his family, including his mom, Lonnie, who I asked to come up here, who will be pinning his badge number 303. Lonnie, please come forward. I'm going to get out of the way for pictures because I know how important that is. Very welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Great work.
Thanks, JT. Next is Sergeant Jake Albers. Jake, could you stop? Yeah. Now you're going to see what I mean by the high school 2003. Sergeant Jake Albers grew up in the Maple Grove area and graduated from Osseo High School in 2003. During high school, he played hockey and golf and worked various jobs. Just prior to being hired as a police officer, he volunteered as a reserve officer with the Robbinsdale Police Department and a special deputy with the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office for 2 years. Jake graduated from North Hennepin Community College with an associate's degree in law enforcement in March 2013. He was sworn in as a police officer with the Crystal Police Department on September 30th, 2013. During his time here, Jake has received numerous awards and has served as an FTO, an Explorer Advisor, a firearms instructor, and a crisis negotiator. Jake endured the same rigorous promotion process as Lieutenant Tourville to stand before you tonight. Jake has invested a lot to the Crystal PD in the last 10 years and has certainly earned the honor and responsibilities of his promotion to sergeant. Jake lives in the northwest suburbs and enjoys spending time with his young family. Jake began serving as a sergeant on an interim basis in September, and we are very excited to have him move into his leadership role as a patrol supervisor permanently. Jake is joined tonight by his family, and by family I mean like the first 4 rows back there. Including his son Oscar, who will be pinning his badge number 305 on him. Oscar, can you come up here, please? This is a real important one. I'm definitely giving another away for Jeff.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Jake. Next is Sergeant Jason Nolan. If you could step up, please. Sergeant Jason Nolan grew up in Blaine with his parents and brother and graduated from Blaine High School in 1994. During high school, he was involved in football and academics. He graduated from St. Cloud State University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice studies in August of 1998. He worked a number of various jobs during college and also volunteered as a reserve officer with the South Lake Minnetonka Police Department during this time. Jason also turned down law enforcement jobs with the Spring Lake Park Police Department and New Hope Police Departments and was sworn in as a police officer with the Crystal Police Department on April 5th, 1999. During his time here, Jason has received numerous awards and has served as a team leader with the SWAT team, a field training officer, an Explorer Advisor, a firearms instructor, just to name a few. Most recently, Jason spent the past 7 years as an investigator with the West Metro Violent Crime and Drug Task Force. Jason endured the same rigorous promotion process as Lieutenant Tourville and Sergeant Albers to stand before you tonight. Jason has contributed to the Crystal Police Department for 23 years and has certainly earned the honor and responsibilities of his promotion to sergeant. Jason lives in the West Metro and enjoys hunting, fishing, attending his kids' sporting events, and spending time with his family. Sergeant Nolan officially started in his new role a few weeks ago, and we are very excited to publicly recognize his move to his new role as a patrol supervisor. Jason is joined tonight by his family, including his wife Tracy, who will be pinning his badge number 306 on him. Tracy, if you could step forward.
Great job. Congratulations.
And last but certainly not least, Sergeant Matt Saba. If you could step forward. On my way in here, I ran into Matt's dad, and Matt's dad and I were reminiscing on how I was Matt's background investigator a long time ago when we were hiring him, and I was sitting in his parents' living room, which I think you were living there. Yeah. He doesn't live there anymore, though. Sergeant Matt Saba grew up in St. Louis Park with his parents and 2 siblings and graduated from St. Louis Park High School in 2000. During high school, he worked at Olmsted's grocery store in St. Louis Park and was involved in cross country, earned his Eagle Scout, and spent 6 years as a police explorer with the St. Louis Park Police Department. Just prior to being hired as a police officer, he worked for 2 years as a community service officer at the St. Louis Park Police Department. Matt graduated from Normandale Community College with an associate's degree in law enforcement in November 2003 and subsequently received his bachelor's degree in police science from St. Mary's University. He turned down law enforcement jobs with the St. Louis Park and Maple Grove Police Departments and was sworn in as a police officer with the Crystal Police Department on November 12, 2003. During his time here, Matt has received numerous awards and has served as a member of the SWAT team, an FTO, an Explorer Advisor, a traffic officer, and a firearms instructor. In fact, there is no member of this department for many years who has not benefited from Matt's outstanding teaching abilities. Most recently, Matt served as a general investigator for the last 2 years. Matt endured the same rigorous promotion process as the others to stand before you tonight. Matt has been a vital part of the Crystal PD team for 19 years and has certainly earned the honor and responsibility of his promotion to sergeant. Matt lives in the northwest suburbs and enjoys hunting, fishing, coaching lacrosse, and spending time with his wonderful family. Sergeant Saba officially started in his new role today, and we are very excited to have him move into this leadership role as a patrol supervisor. Matt is joined by his family tonight, including his daughter Sophie, who will be pinning his badge 311 on him. Sophia, if you could come on up.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Matt. Well, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, thank you very much for allowing us to be here tonight. If you don't mind, I'm going to excuse the family and officers so they can go have some fun because I doubt they want to be here for the council meeting. What? Thank you very much.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
This is getting more than what you're used to, right?
Well, I only have one other meeting on the road outside. I don't know. Average of 2, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have another appearance. John Elholm is here to address the council in the recognition of Lynn Haney. So, John, take it away.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I'm a lot less nervous now.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway, I'm here tonight to recognize Lynn Haney. Lynn was recently awarded the Park and Recreation Board and Commission Award by the Minnesota Recreation and Park Association. This award is presented each year to one member of a Citizens Advisory Board in the Parks and Recreation field. Lynn was presented with this award last Friday because she is a great example of what a Park and Recreation Commission member should be. Lynn has been a member of Crystal's Park and Recreation Commission for over 25 years. She served 5 years as chair, 5 years as vice chair, and 3 years as secretary. Not only has she served a long time, but she has been a very active member. She was there providing input when Crystal's first dog park was created, when the first skate park was installed, when the disc golf course was expanded, and when most of the city's swimming pool was replaced. Now, in 2023, she continues to share her thoughts as we plan for a new dog park, another disc golf course expansion, and many other park and recreation projects. In addition, she has been providing great input as we work to make our parks more inclusive and welcoming to all. Lynn also has a bachelor's degree in Parks and Recreation. But along with projects, Lynn is well known for her leadership with community events, including volunteering at the annual Crystal Frolics event for 25 years, many as president, and volunteering at the annual Winterfest event for 23 years. Being recognized as a top Park and Recreation Commission member in Minnesota is special and is an honor that is well deserved. Lynn, thank you for all you do for the city of Crystal.
We know how to clear a room. As John and I were talking earlier, it came up in the conversation. I could not have gotten this award if it weren't for the confidence given me by the city council in reappointing me every time it comes up. So I want to thank you for that confidence that you have given me. And even though all of those of us who volunteer, we don't do it for recognition, this is cool.
That's very cool.
This is cool, so this is nice. So, and thank you for letting me be here today.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn.
You know, before we get too carried away here, you know, I'd like to welcome Adam Bell here. This is his first council meeting, and it's been a long road from the time that interview started until this moment, so we just want to properly welcome you and thank you for coming and thank you for being here. So, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Adams, members of the council. Today is my first day and right into the fire, but I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, people of Crystal. I look forward to working with you and serving you.
All right, awesome. So next on the agenda is the consent agenda. This is something that is routine and non-controversial in nature, and we usually do that in a single motion. I'll read that into the record at this point in time. Approval of the minutes from the following meeting. City Council regular meeting from January 3rd, 2023. And then second item is approval of the list of license applications submitted by the city clerk to the city council. That list is on file in her office. Adoption of a resolution accepting donations. Adoption of a resolution approving the Inflow and Infiltration grant agreement between Met Council, Environmental Services. Adoption of a resolution approving 2023 council rules. Approval of the following annual city staff appointments. Edmond County Recycling Group, City Manager Adam Bell. Local Government Information Systems, Logis Board Member, City Manager Adam Bell. An alternate Kim Terrace. Northwest Suburban Cable Commission and CCX Board Members, City Manager Adam Bell. And then last item is adoption of a resolution appointing City Manager Adam Bell as Crystal representative of the Joint Water Commission to the term that expires January 31st, 2024. Yeah, go ahead, Ford.
Mr. Mayor, I move to remove the rules from the consent agenda and have it considered on its own to hear a little bit more about it from the city attorney.
Okay, sounds good. We'll put that at the beginning of the,
Do you need a second?
no, We just pulled that off.
Just a request. All right.
We just put it at the front of the regular agenda.
Okay.
So we'll pull that off. So with that, looking for a motion on this? Go ahead, John.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Looking for a second. David?
I will second that.
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there anyone here wishing to speak during open forum? All right, why don't you step forward?
Uh-oh.
Notebook. Is this where we remind you have 3 minutes? No. All right, topic is liaison. Go ahead, Bert.
Bert Orr at 6700 60th Avenue North. Mayor, Council, I apologize for the little humor. Just make sure I have it all in order here. I appreciate that the council works for the residents and with comity and competitiveness, but as of the last meeting regarding the liaison assignments, it gave me pause. Councilperson John Budichewski, who I know is a good questioner and a busy person, busy people do well with new assignments. I've appreciated his familiarity with crystal issues, and he is forthright. Nancy LaRoche, Councilperson Nancy LaRoche, is also a good questioner, and she does her homework and is prepared with city agenda. She is informed, and she is, as far as I know, still on the fire board. She adds diversity. So I hope our council can come to an accommodation between both these skilled chairpersons regarding the position listed in the agenda today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bert. Is there anyone else wishing to speak during open forum? All right, seeing none, we'll close open forum. And first item on the agenda now at this point is the conversation about the rules. You're prepared to talk on the rules?
Sure, Mr.
Roy?
Mayor, I'd be
Thank
happy
you.
to. So good evening, Mayor and Council. As the memo indicates, you have adopted for yourself a set of rules going back several years that requires you to consider and act upon your rules at the second meeting of each year. And so it's before you this evening for adoption. Those of you that were here last year may recall that we made various amendments to the rules last time. It was discussed in work session, that sort of thing. And they were eventually adopted. This year, I went through them. Frankly, I hadn't gone through them for a while. I mean, we made some amendments last time, but I looked through them for consistency. And there are things, it's drafting things, like city council or council, and council was capitalized, not capitalized, mayor was not capitalized, and so just going through and trying to create some consistency there. Also, I took a look, part of your rules are reflected in your code, and then obviously you have several rules in your charter as well. And so probably the most text that was added was with respect to resolutions. And there I try to take out some of the language or reflect some of the language that's in your charter to bring that in. So you have that in one spot rather than having to remember that when I look at resolutions, I also have to look at the charter to see how that, I thought it'd be easier just to bring them together. Not that this is a end-all be-all document, it doesn't cover everything under the sun, but frankly, I thought these changes were largely cleanup, and as I indicated in the memo, this really, from my perspective, entails no substantive changes. Yes, there are some more language in here, but it's reflective of the rules that already apply to you anyway through the charter. So I'd be happy to answer any questions there may be.
Any questions on it? Go ahead, Forrest.
I'm one of the people that wasn't here last year, so that's part of the reason why I wanted it taken out so we could just have a quick discussion. In your review of the rules, and as a professional in this realm, do you feel like our rules are generally in line with what other municipal governments are doing, or is there anything in there that as you were reviewing them, you thought, well, this doesn't really quite fit with the norm?
So, Mr. Mayor and council, no, not really. I'd have to say in most of the communities I work with, they do just a shorthand to Robert's rules and just kind of leave it there. Now, some councils, larger councils particularly, have a tendency to adopt specific rules on things, largely generated out of a point of tension at some point or discussion where they say this is how the rules should be. So no, these rules were put together as an initial draft by a former council member when the person was on the council, if I recall. I did review them at the time. And while this gets into details that perhaps some other rules don't, I think it does so in a way that I think is perfectly fine.
Thank you. And then one other question, if I may.
Go ahead.
When was the original rules drafted? Do you know? I'm just,
2000, no,
15,
Oh, boy.
14, 15.
Somewhere in there.
2015.
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for going through and cleaning up. I appreciate your edits. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, I look for a motion. Go ahead, Nancy.
I'll make a motion to adopt, now I just lost my place here because we pulled it out, to adopt the council rules.
All right, looking for a second. Go ahead.
I'll second.
Thanks, Tracy. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember LaRoche,
Aye.
Mayor Adams,
Aye.
Councilmember Budaszewski,
Nay.
Councilmember Cummings,
Aye. Aye.
Councilmember Idle,
Aye.
Councilmember Camish,
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. So first item on the regular agenda is disbursements of $25,000 or greater. At this time, I'll read those into the record. First item is BCWMC for the Bassett Creek dues for 2023. That's $33,952. Lake Town Electric Corporation for pedestrian crossing signal at 32nd and Douglas Drive, $38,000 even. MinPair for the employee required contribution for pay date 1/6/2023, $61,749. Total disbursements of $25,000 or greater is $133,701.65. Any questions from the council on any of these items? Go ahead, Nancy.
One first is a comment. I think this is the shortest list I've seen in my 6 years serving. Second was just an update, Mark Ray or John Sutter, if you have an update on the pedestrian crossing signal, is that fully up and running? It looked like it was.
It is not. We're actually just waiting. So everything's ready to go. We literally just need Excel to basically plug it in from the power to the meter cabinet. And I've been told we'll have that done by the end of the month. And then it'll be ready to go.
Awesome, thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, looking for a motion. Go ahead, Patrice.
I'll make a motion to approve expenditures over $25,000.
All right, looking for a second. Go ahead, John.
I second that motion.
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next, the council will consider a resolution approving plans and specifications authorizing advertisements for bids. Nope, I'm reading the wrong line. Lot variance for lot depth in the rear setback for requirements at 5020 Welcome Avenue. Our Community Development Director, John Sutter, is here to address the council. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. This item went before the Planning Commission last week and at their January meeting. The subject property is located on the east side of Welcome Avenue, just south of Corvallis Avenue. This map shows the 500-foot mailing radius for which we sent the public hearing notice. So I'm going to skip to the next slide and I'll read these to you because it makes more sense with the image. So the requested variance is to reduce the lot depth from 100 feet, the minimum lot depth, from 100 feet to 84 feet, and to reduce the minimum rear setback from 30 feet to 15 feet, as illustrated on the attached survey. Basically, the variance would reduce these requirements to match the existing conditions on the property. So how did this property end up like this? So again, I'll go to the aerial and I'll just read the comments. It'll make more sense with the picture. This property is the remnant of a farmstead that was present until the early 1950s. This aerial is from 1945. You can see the subject property, the rightmost red dot, that's the subject property. The farmhouse is to the left of that, and then northwest of that is another farm outbuilding. And all this was part of a farmstead site before suburban development kind of exploded in this area after World War II. Fast forward to today, and this is what we have. The same three properties in the red dots. The subject property is the one with the blue box around it. And that is, you can see how the creation of Welcome Avenue and the subdivision of the farmstead into all these new home lots in the early 1950s basically created these two nonconformities that the variance is being asked to address. So the Planning Commission did recommend approval at their January 9th public hearing. They determined that the requested variances meet the requirements of city code and unanimously recommended approval. So tonight we are asking you to adopt the resolution that would approve the variance with the findings as recommended by the Planning Commission.
All right, thank you, John. Any questions? Nancy, go ahead.
John, you mentioned or in our brief here, it mentioned that there was one person from the public who expressed concern. Was that person from the radius of those mailed on
No,
this?
they were from a different part of Crystal, approximately 1.5 miles in a straight line from this location.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? John, go ahead.
So when Welcome was transformed into a state aid road, was there any land that was taken from this property at all?
No, sir. The state aid designation was during the street reconstruction project in 2008, but this street, so it was reconstructed then, but the street, including the full 50-foot wide right-of-way, was platted in early 1950s
Okay.
as part of the subdivision. When it basically, oops, there we go. When the farmstead went from this to basically this development pattern that we see today. That all happened in the early 1950s.
Okay.
All that happened in '08 is the designation of the roadway was changed from a regular local street to a state aid road.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Nancy?
Somewhat related, but not to this topic or to this motion. Is that still the original farmhouse? I'm looking at the aerial in it. The house looks the same.
Yes, the 5023 Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, that house, it's the middle of the three red dots if you're looking at the screen. That is, you can see it, the one in the middle in 1945. There actually are older aerials than this, going back to 1937, but this is the best one of decent quality, or the oldest one of decent quality where you can clearly see the farmstead, and that one in the middle is the farmhouse that is still there today.
That's great.
When you drive down Welcome or walk down Welcome, you can see both the subject property, 5020, and the farmhouse at 5023. They're at a slight angle. They're not north, south, east, west. They're kind of canted a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that, for whatever reason, that's how they were built. But they were clearly built facing each other. Mm-hmm. Different from all the other homes on the block, which are standard north, south, east, west orientation.
Cool. All right. Any further questions? All right, looking for a motion. Nancy?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution approving a variance for 5020 Welcome Avenue North.
All right, looking for a second. John, go ahead.
A second that motion.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, John. Next, the council will consider approving plans and specifications authorizing and advertising for bids for the 2023 utility reconstruction project. Mark Ray, our Public Works Director, is here to address the council. Welcome, Mark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's that time of the year to start talking projects for the summer. So the first one up this evening is the 2023 utility reconstruction project. 43 properties in the project area, a little bit larger than we've seen in the past. Schedule really tonight, considering before you approving plan specifications, authorizing ad for bid. Open bids on March 12th. We'll come to actually a work session between the 10th and the 21st. And the 21st we'll consider a contract, and then late fall this year the project will be done. The big thing to point out there is, and I'll touch on this in a second, is we have the base bid and then two bid alternates. And the reason for that is on cost that I'll touch on here shortly. Communication, it's the same as every utility reconstruction we've done so far for the past 3 years. We are already talking to residents one-on-one. The total cost, as you can see, is $2.6 million. Our funding is $2.1 million. So the project is $247,000 over as currently designed. That's why those bid alternates are in there, because as you can see, each of the 2 bid alternates is more, the engineer's estimate is more than what we're under. So if something crazy happens, we get really favorable bidding, we conceivably could do the full project. At this point, we're planning not to. We're anticipating we'll do a base bid and probably bid alternate 1 is what will happen this year. But we're cautiously optimistic. CenterPoint Energy actually has done most of the work in the area prior to our project. Usually they do it in the spring, but they were able to get ahead of it this past fall. And they do communicate directly with the residents. Tonight, the item before you is a motion to approve the plans and specifications for the project, and then authorize the ad for bid for the 2023 utility reconstruction project. Any questions?
All right, thanks, Mark. Any questions, council? Seeing none. All right, we have 2 motions. Who's interested in making that motion? Nancy?
We'll make motion to approve plans and specifications for the 2023 utility reconstruction project.
All right, thank you, Nancy. Looking for a second. Therese?
I will second that.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Nancy, did you want to do the second?
I would be happy to. I'll make a motion for resolution ordering advertisement for bids for the 2023 utility reconstruction project.
All right, thank you. Thank you for a second. Therese, would you be willing?
I will second that.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, Mark is still here.
Very
And
true.
we're going to talk about more utilities, so go ahead, Mark.
Actually, not utilities this time. This one is just pavement maintenance, 2023 mill and overlay project. It'll be 36th Avenue from Douglas Drive to Highway 100. It is a whopping 0.54 miles. 2-inch mill and overlay, usually we do 1.5 inches. We're going 2 inches because obviously it is the busiest section of the busiest city street. Spot curb replacement like normal, and then replacing 10 pedestrian curb ramps. You might think there's more than 10 ramps, but we've actually done replacements on the south side already. So this will just be finishing up that corridor. Budget is $882,000. Engineer estimate right there is $640,000. You can see right now we're actually about $250,000 under budget. So one of the conversations we're having is, depending on how this all plays out, we could conceivably use some of this money to help the utility reconstruction project go, if that comes in favorable as well. The other thing that's out there is next year for our utility reconstruction project, it's Louisiana Avenue from Medicine Lake Road up to 32nd Avenue. That's a joint project with New Hope that we've been planning for 5 years. So we have to make sure that project goes. So the other thing we're looking at is holding money in reserve to make sure we have enough funds built up to make sure that project happens. So that has priority over a bid alternate, for example. So these are the kind of the things we're tracking that we'll touch base with you all at the work session. But that's kind of behind the scenes math there. Again, schedule, bids will be proposed to be open February 21st. Again, we'll have a work session update. Then March 7th, this contract will come before you. Again, we're actually going to be mailing in the coming week or two a project flyer, assuming you all approve it this evening, and then we'll do additional mailings once the contract is approved. With that, motions before you, approve plans and specifications, and then order the ad for bid. With that, are there any questions?
Go ahead, Nancy.
I see that you had date for project completion is fall of 2023. When do you anticipate a start?
So one of the things we try to do to get as favorable pricing as possible is we give the contractor a lot of leeway. They have to get it done this year.
Right.
But where they fit it in their schedule, because it's only 0.54 miles, we give them flexibility to try to get better pricing.
Okay.
So we don't know when they're going to start and end. What we do know is once they start, they need to finish. And so we kind of control, okay, once you start, you need to keep making progress. But where that fits in your overall picture is kind of up to them.
Okay. Are there anticipated alternative routes because it is such a busy?
So, well, sort of. We're actually talking about potentially doing some weekend work to just shut the whole road down, just to make it safe, because drivers do make some poor decisions on that corridor. And then we're also talking about potentially trying to get it during the summer, because we know Fair School and River Tree are right there also.
Yeah.
And so just trying to balance that. So those are all things we have planned to discuss with the contractor.
Great, thank you.
All right, Forrest?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So with as you just alluded to, this is kind of a dangerous stretch. Is there any plans to like do a traffic study to like assess striping on it, or a change in striping?
It's gonna be put back exactly the way it is. I would agree that people are driving fast. It's actually from a crash and safety standpoint, the northern part of the city, Highway 81 and 56, past like West Broadway, the county roads, and actually city parking lots are where we have most of the crashes in the city. So from a volume and speed standpoint, obviously people are driving faster, but there are no plans to change anything on this corridor.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion. Nancy?
I'm going to take this over here. I'll make a motion to approve plans and specifications for 2023 Bituminous Street Resurfacing Project.
All right, looking for a second. John?
I can second that motion.
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Advertisement? Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay, I'll make a motion ordering advertisement for bids for the 2023 Bituminous Street Resurfacing Project.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second, John?
I second that motion.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right,
Still here, Mayor.
still here. All right, why don't you go ahead? We have utilities along 42nd.
So this is the item we discussed at the work session last Thursday, basically proposing undergrounding all the utilities that are located along the poles on the south side of 42nd Avenue from Adair to roughly Georgia. I failed to mention, our team has nicknamed this Operation Power Rangers. So I had to include that for their own.
Can't wait for the video.
They asked me to. So what's going to happen is there's a ton of unknowns. Phase one, the intent is to answer a lot of those unknowns. We will then come back to the council, basically work through all those unknowns and have a go, no-go decision with proceeding with phase two. Phase two would be basically acquiring property rights if needed to locate the utilities underground is fundamentally what that is. That's why the price tag is higher, because there'd be a lot more detailed work going into working with homeowners on land acquisition, or at least easement acquisition. So with that, the motion before you is authorize a professional services agreement for the 42nd Avenue Underground Utility Project.
All right, any questions on this one? Seeing none. David?
I'll make a motion authorizing professional services agreements for the 42nd Avenue Utility Underground Project.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second? Therese, go
I
ahead.
will second that.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next, the council will consider a resolution appointing council member Nancy LaRoche as Crystal's representative on the West Metro Fire Rescue District Board of Directors, continued from January 3rd meeting. There's nobody here to address the council. I think we know where we're at. We've had some conversation about it. Continuing it, I think allowed us to take a breath and kind of see where we're at with that, with the different liaison appointments and whatnot. The thing that struck me after giving it some further thought was, on this particular board, it makes sense to me to leave someone in who has had some experience. We have Adam, who is going to be stepping right into their fresh. It'd be nice to have the experience. And that's really my best argument for keeping it status quo. And I'm hoping you'll consider that. Go ahead, John.
I have two questions. First of all, since Nancy has already served 1 year, why would you continue it for another 2 years and have her be on the board for 3 years total?
I thought it was just continuing for a second year.
No, it says through 2024, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me, she was finishing out the Brendan Banks's time.
Oh, I
and
see.
She finished out his
Yep.
term.
Yeah.
And now she is going on to another term, and the term is 2 years.
Okay.
Okay, now it makes sense.
Forrest?
Could I get a clarification on that? So,
Sure.
Brendan Banks' term was cut short then, and is that what would happen? I'm just trying to understand a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because he's not here.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, Nancy was serving last year in Brendan's?
Is that right?
That's what
Doesn't
I'm
sound
trying
right.
to
That doesn't sound
understand.
right.
Yeah.
She was the council representative for the city of Crystal that replaced Brendan Banks, who was the council representative. for the
Oh,
city.
but it wasn't his term that she replaced. It was just
Filled
like,
out his term,
Yes.
continued his term till the
so
end.
he was there for 2 years, and now,
I recall.
last year was the first year of
He
Nancy's.
was there for 3.
It was an unusual replacement.
Oh, okay.
It was. Yep. I
Oh,
recall-
okay,
I recall now.
so Brandon's term was interrupted after 1
Yep.
year?
Yep.
Okay, that was, I didn't
And he was
understand.
still here. Yep.
Okay.
That's correct.
But he also it was his second go on the fire board, so he was halfway through his second term. So he served 3 years on the fire board. And then the 4th year, he couldn't be on the fire board, so Nancy took over.
Okay. I think I understand that.
That is correct. That is correct.
All right. Thank you for the clarification.
All right, John?
Question number 2 is, are there other people on this council that can serve in that capacity on the fire board? I've been on the fire board before. Anybody else?
There's other people with public safety experience, yes.
Okay, so it's not just specifically only Nancy that can serve on the fire board, correct?
That's correct.
All right. The other,
Right.
and I got one last comment, is I don't like to see someone who's on the council be on the fire board that their term would end, at the same time that their term on the fire board would. That at least be someone from the council who would have some overlap, during that election period. That would be my preference, Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's the same argument I made as far as having overlapping representation in Crystal with Adam coming straight on, yeah.
But
I understand your point.
Yes,
I do.
because if Nancy is appointed through 2024, and again, it's an election year, right? It's possible that all of a sudden, there would be an abrupt change, because we had that before. We had that where there was we didn't have representation on the fire board that didn't have experience being on the fire board from the previous council.
Okay, I think I just lost your point.
Okay.
So Nancy's you're talking about the term of her being on the council, correct?
Right, yeah.
So she's on for 2 more years?
She's up for election in 2024.
Yep.
Yep.
When
So-
are you up for? 23? 22, no, you'd be up in 24?
2024.
So you'd be, sir, your term would end the same as
Yeah.
mine.
So I'm saying that we should actually adopt, if, let's say, for instance, Nancy, if you're going to be on the fire board, then your term would expire on December 31st, 2023.
So you're saying, let's stagger it.
Yes.
That actually, I think, I would agree, that makes sense.
And then, a year from now, we have another discussion as a council and determine who's the best representative for the fire board.
So you're talking about changing the term
Yes.
to 1 year?
No, just
Just
stagger it.
having it so it doesn't end on an election year.
Yes.
I think is what he's saying.
And then you'd still have the 2 years, which is normally the full term.
Yeah.
And then eventually, we hopefully get back on the right cycle.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Mr. Mayor and Council, just thinking, not that I don't think that can be done, but it may not be consistent with the joint powers agreement, how it states for terms. Again, I haven't reviewed that, but
I can't tell you what the joint.
Thank you.
I can't tell you exactly how the joint powers agreement recognizes it or addresses it, but I could get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, and Mr. Mayor, I'm not saying that that stops this, I mean, because, typically the appointing authority can remove someone and replace them at typically any time. So I don't think it's a big hurdle, but I just wanted to point that out, that it may not be consistent with the JPA. So, but I'm not saying you can't do it.
So what we could do is do our homework on that piece of it, approve a 2-year, and then bring it back to the table if we get joint powers agreement consent. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure what you're saying. So are you saying like,
It's a 2-year, we understand that it's a 2-year appointment. So if we want to go ahead and change that staggering, we can do so by bringing it back to the council at a later date. We can do it next year, or we can probably do it sooner. Just, we want to kind of make sure that we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's before we change.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Come back and revisit.
What are we agreeing to, bring it back in a year? Is that do I understand that?
Well, I think
correctly?
we should instruct staff to do a quick review of that and see if we can do it immediately or sooner. So if we can do it sooner, we'll do it sooner.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll wait till next year, and come appointment time, we'll make the change at that point in time. Does that seem feasible, Troy?
So, Mr. Mayor, sure, you can do that. So if you adopt this resolution as is, it just is with the understanding that it may change at the end of next year. So someone else may be appointed for the remaining term.
Would we need to change verbiage on this
No.
motion
No.
then? No?
It would be a different resolution
Okay.
next year at this time.
Yeah. Okay, still thinking it through. If we have it alternate, not on election year, then that brings into the conversation, if we have someone appointed and then their term ends, then we're back into the,
You have someone who fills out their term, and then you basically reappoint someone again for a 2-term or 2-year process after that.
I guess there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Yeah,
Okay,
it works.
yep, I think it does. All right, looking for a motion on this one. John, go ahead.
I make a motion appointing a member to the Board of Directors for the West Metro Fire Board District. Is there a
Looking for
second?
Second.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. That's it for our regular agenda. We do have a couple announcements. Our next city council meeting will be Tuesday, February 7th at 7 PM here at City Hall. You can also attend via Zoom. City council meetings and work sessions are open to the public. They can be listened to or viewed on our website at crystalmn.gov. Any other announcements from the council?
Are there any park activities, John? I'm sorry, do we have, what was that winter thing we did last year with the ice and things? I'm so sorry, I can't remember when that was, but I thought it was in February. February 4th. Thank you.
Good evening. I also don't have the date on the.
I think Trace did, February 4th?
February 4th at Valley Place Park?
That sounds about right.
Was it Winterlude? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Winterlude. That was so
Winterlude.
much fun. That was really cool.
So,
We had a
yes,
cold
that is
day.
back. I think, I don't,
Yeah,
if you have the date, that's great.
okay.
It's Saturday the 4th. Isn't the 4th is, do I have that right?
At
The
Valley
first-
Place
Yeah,
again?
Valley Place Park. The first Saturday in February. I think it's the 4th.
So John, what are the activities?
Off the top of your
Okay.
head.
Sorry about that.
No, there's a lot of, there's ice skating, I'm sure we have the music back, sledding hill's open. There's just a lot of fun it's outdoor activities.
Okay.
You had those little push sleigh things, I remember. That was really fun.
Yeah, so Winterfest was primarily indoor, and then when COVID came, we did an outdoor event, and it was very popular. So this year, we're actually doing both.
So for more info, you can check the Park and Rec on Facebook and on the city website,
There you go.
crystalmn.gov.
All right. Any other announcements? Seeing none, looking for a motion. John?
So moved.
Nancy?
Second.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.
Recording stopped.